and welcome back to our tutorial series. In this video, we're going to talk about customizing your warehouse. This tutorial is all about making your warehouse fit your game, exactly fitting your specific needs and your custom setup. The idea here is to make sure that whatever makes your company or your game different from others can be represented inside the warehouse, and that your items can be customized to truly match your use case. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is something we skipped during the initial setup tutorials, and that is metadata. Let's think for a moment about our game Banana Swoosh, or Banana Swoosh Slash, or whatever we want to call it. In Banana Swoosh, we have boosts. And let's imagine that in our game, levels involve some kind of combat, and boosts help the player by increasing either their attack or their speed. So let's say these are the parameters that boosts affect: attack, health, defense, and luck. Right now, when we create a concept, it only has default fields. It has a name, an image, a price in USD, a rarity, and notes. But it doesn't have anything custom. That's what we're going to create first. To start, let's go to Concept Types and edit the Boost concept type. What we're about to do applies only to boosts. It's not related to currencies or levels. Now, if you're not familiar with Zod, it's a schema specification that allows you to define the structure of your data essentially, how your data should look. In item base, data is represented as JSON, and a Zod schema defines the format of that JSON. In simple terms, what we want is for boosts to have stats, so we'll add a field called stats, and inside it we'll define 4 numeric values: ATK, HP, DEF, and luck. All of these values must be numbers and cannot be negative. That's all we need. We then generate the schema, which creates a Zod object defining the structure of our stats. Now we update the concept type, and from this moment on, every boost has attack, health, defense, and luck stats. Next, let's go back to the concept warehouse. At first glance, nothing has changed yet. We select boosts again and open Bunny Money. Here, in the metadata JSON section, we're about to enter our data. We could edit this JSON directly, but there are other ways to do it. First, we can switch to the form view. You'll notice that attack, health, defense, and luck are already present. This form is automatically generated based on the schema we defined. For this boost, let's set attack to 10, health to 50, defense to 5, and luck to 2. We apply the metadata, and you can see that the JSON is generated automatically with these values. Another way to edit this data is using the spreadsheet style view. If you prefer this approach, you can edit values directly. For example, increase luck, press enter, and the value updates immediately. Whichever method you prefer, you can use it to edit each of your boosts. We can now repeat this process for all the boosts. For example, we can give another boost higher attack and save it. For Pink Bunny, we can balance all the stats. For Clover, which is an ethereal item, we can make it stronger across the board. And Thundercloud is more common, so we'll keep its stats lower and simpler. And that's it for adding metadata. At this point, boosts are different from other items. They have structured stats, while other things like currencies or levels do not. Next, we move on to custom columns and cell renderers. Right now, the metadata exists, but it's only visible when you open an item for editing. It's true that in Spreadsheet View, everything is flattened, and you can view or edit metadata there, or export it as CSV, but it would be much nicer to see this data directly in the main table. Also, there may be columns we're not interested in seeing, for example, SKU. When a specific type like boosts is selected, we can open the table settings on the right. This shows us all the visible columns. Let's remove SKU to simplify the view. Now we have some extra space, so let's use it. We'll create a custom column for attack. We point it to the metadata path stats.atk. Now we can see attack values for every boost. We can do the same for health, defense, and luck using stats.hp, stats.def, and stats.luck. At this point, we can easily sort boosts, compare them side by side, and spot outliers. Now let's take this one step further. Instead of just showing raw numbers, we can create a computed column. Let's call it specialization. If multiple stats share the highest value, the boost is classified as balanced, except when the highest stats are only health and defense, in which case it is still considered defensive. This is one way to customize the table, but there are others. When creating a column, we can also choose different rendering types. In addition to text, we currently support links, audio previews, and image previews. These can be useful when working with things like soundtracks, background images, or external references. Renderers don't change the data, they only change how it's displayed. More rendering options will be added over time. Overall, you have full control over your warehouse table. You can turn columns on or off, create new ones, and define exactly how each column behaves and what it displays. This is very different from the spreadsheet view, which simply flattens all data. And that's it for customizing your warehouse.